Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 10 of Crossbar podcast. This is Yaz.
This is Brian.
This is Ep.10.
This is Ash.
Episode 10, we got a new guest. Ash, why don't you we'll go ahead and do your intro. What teams do you support and why?
Well, I support Barcelona, really. And I wasn't really into football that much. So the reason I started to support this team is quite interesting. I was second year of college, and I had this girl who was living in my dormitory. It was one of those like mixed dorms. And she just broke up with her boyfriend. And they booked this ticket to watch Manchester City versus Barcelona. So she had this ticket that she wouldn't use. And she was giving it for free because she didn't want to go with that guy. So I got the ticket off her because I'd never been to a real stadium. I'd never been to a live match. So I wanted to go and watch it. So
Why didn't you take her?
Huh?
Why didn't you take her? She just broke
Because
up
it
with
was,
her.
first of all, she was ugly. And second, it was like the day of the match. So
Wait, was it in the Camp Nou?
no, it was in Manchester.
Oh, it was in Manchester? Okay.
She only had one ticket, so she was giving me her ticket because she didn't want to go with the guy. So anyway, so I went to the match, and I really didn't like Manchester City because I just don't support those new rich teams that just
That's fair.
got the
Yeah.
oil money and became a good team. So I was obviously not supporting Manchester City, and I went to the game, and Barcelona won that game 2-0, and it was a beautiful game. And I remember, like, Messi only touched the ball twice. Like, he was just standing in the other half of the game. He was just standing in Man City's half, and all the other players were in Barcelona's half. They were defending. And they just passed the ball to Messi once, and he only got the ball once. And that was the time that he went to the penalty area and got a penalty. And another time was when he passed the ball to Dani Alves, and it was the second goal. So since then, I realized, holy shit, actually it can be quite fun, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So I started supporting Barcelona.
Any other teams you support?
Not really.
Okay, let's move on to the next question. So let's do where are you from and when you started following football.
Well, obviously, I'm this guy's brother, so I was born in Iran, and I spent the last 11, 12 years of my life in England. Yeah, I've been living up north in Yorkshire. Right, I went to college there and now working there. What was the next question? Well, I've been watching football on and off. We used to play football together as a kid. I wasn't really a football supporter. I was more of a player when we were younger. But yeah, the first real match I watched was the match I told you about. I do go to pubs with friends on and off to watch football, but that's just to be in the pub, not really for the football itself. But yeah.
That's fair. So do you have any football idols?
I do. Yeah, like I really like this spider guy from yesterday. He's pretty awesome, Manuel Neuer. And
Oh, no, yeah.
I like Messi as well, obviously.
All right, and let's move on to these rapid fire questions. I'm just gonna throw them off and just quick answers, okay?
I'm
So
nervous.
let's get into it. Does pineapple belong on pizza?
Of course. Yeah, it's awesome.
PS4 or Xbox?
Xbox, obviously.
Cats or dogs?
Cats are cute, yeah.
Spotify or Apple Music?
Spotify, definitely.
Are you a morning person or a night person?
Oh, a night person.
If you had to choose one actor to play you in a movie about yourself, who would you choose?
Tom Cruise, he goes facially and height-wise, definitely.
And what's your favorite emoji?
My favorite what?
Emoji.
Oh, the guy with the flat mouth.
Got the five. Okay.
Oh, I like that.
Gabriel Megalier, can't say his last name. To Arsenal, here we go. Total agreement just completed. He will fly on Monday to London to sign his contract until June 2025. 30 million euros to Lille. Add-ons to be included. Official statement on next week. The deal is finally done. So Gabriel is to Arsenal. What do you guys
feel
think
about that?
Oh, you're gonna love it back to me. Good signing. bright young guy in the French league. Has been tearing it up, and we need center backs because the center backs that we have now are shite. So I'm excited to see him pair up with Saliba. That's going to be a good pairing.
Nice.
You guys have any thoughts on that? Man U did get involved at the last minute, but it wasn't enough to steal him away.
I mean, that's the position you guys were looking for, so I think it's going to be – and he's a really good youngster. So
Yeah, and he's a left-footed center back. So he – is Maguire left-footed or right-footed?
I think he's right-footed.
Oh, so I could see why they would after him because he would pair up with Maguire. Pepe Reina has agreed a 2-year contract with Lazio. He's joining from AC Milan to play Champions League again. Deal is done. Here we go. Confirmed by Fabrizio Romano.
40.
Dude, I think he's like 39 or 40. He's so old.
And the thing is, he's always been in like decent teams too. It's really interesting.
Well, wasn't he at Villa?
He's got the right connection.
What?
Wasn't he at Villa last season? Isn't that where he was? Aston Villa?
Was it the main goalkeeper?
I don't know, but he's been like back and forth.
He's usually a number 2.
Thiago Silva to Chelsea. Here we go. The Brazilian center back today has accepted Chelsea's bid until June 2022. He's going to leave PSG and sign for the next 2 years. No chances for Fiorentina to sign him. Deal to be completed within the next few days. So he's going to Chelsea, and it is basically confirmed.
That's a solid signing, not gonna lie. For a free transfer?
For 2 years.
Not
Oh,
I
bad.
mean, he is. Yeah, I think 2 years is perfect for him because he's gonna be older afterwards.
He'll be 37. No, 38. He'll be 38.
He's 36.
He's 30. He turns 36 in September. I checked it at work today.
Really?
Man.
He looks way younger.
Dude, I know. He's 35.
Since 8 years ago.
Yeah.
For 8 years.
Dude, he's a dinosaur because he played with like prime Maldini and like Nesta and all of them. He's like an alligator. An alligator is technically a dinosaur, but they've been around for so long that we don't even think about it. Like he's an alligator. Like an alligator is a living dinosaur. That's what he is.
If you look at him, he doesn't age. He literally looks the same.
And honestly, his performance in the final was pretty good. Like him and Kimpembe in the back, I thought they were pretty
Do you
solid.
think that the same thing that happened to David Luiz from PSG to Chelsea to Arsenal would happen to him or no?
Like he'll go to Arsenal next, is that what you're saying?
Because no, just saying like his performance-wise, performance-wise.
Oh, like he won't be as good?
Yeah.
It's true. He's never played at the Prem, right?
Yeah.
He will probably expire by the time he reaches that stage. I mean, he's already 38,
Yeah.
36, so he wouldn't reach the level of deceleration because he's too old to reach that.
I think he'll be okay though. I don't think he's gonna be as good as he was before. It's more about his legs, but he has good positioning, and I think he's evolved to like a very smart player.
It depends what Lampard wants him for. Does he want him to be like the main guy to come in right away, or is he just kind of there to provide some leadership on a 2-year deal and play like some less meaningful games? Who knows? But I think he could walk in there like he can start over Zuma, he'll start over Christensen, he'll start over Tomori. He's better than them, but it's just his age and his durability that are kind of some issues.
Yeah.
He does need leadership anyway.
It's above his legs and injuries at that age. That's probably the biggest thing. If he doesn't get injured, he could probably be pretty good. But if he gets injured like repeatedly, at the speed and the amount of matches that the Premier League offers, because it's a lot more physical than the French league, then that could be a problem. But if he stays okay, I think he should be good.
All right, it's gonna be interesting. See him in the Prem next season. Well, basically like 2 weeks away. 3 weeks away. It's coming up soon. Let's move on to the next one. Kai Havertz. This has been going on and on and on for a few months now. Kai Havertz to Chelsea, one step away, and then here we go. Total agreement to be reached within the next few hours with Bayer Leverkusen. The final bid is going to be accepted. It's going to be 80 million euros plus 20 million euros in add-ons as a final fee. last details and paperwork's time, and then he'll be an unofficial Chelsea player. So, how do you guys feel about him potentially reaching up to 100 mil?
Wow.
Expensive.
I feel like he might have a similar like Yao Felix season where it might be a little underwhelming.
Or De Jong, for example.
No, I think he'll be pretty good under Lampard. I think Lampard is an exciting coach. I think he has really good leadership. I think he'll flourish under Lampard. It's more about, is he worth 100 million? 'Cause that's a lot of money.
Yeah, it's because of his age.
Yeah.
I think that's how much Man U paid for Pogba, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Almost.
I think for Pogba, they were at like $100 million flat, but I don't know how that converts to euros or pounds.
The thing is that also it's 100. Well, it's 80, right? So it's 80 plus, I imagine, add-ons / bonuses depending if they accomplish certain goals. So if they win the Premier League, then I think that's probably like, like an amount of that 20,000 extra.
I mean, comparing to their other signings like Ziyech and Werner, I think he's more expensive. And quality-wise, it's probably the same, but more expensive. So I agree with Brian about the price, but definitely a good signing, definitely a good position for Chelsea to buy players.
Yeah, they're strengthening pretty well, to be honest. I think they're going to be pretty good.
Just hope they don't have the chemistry so they fuck up next season.
But the number one position that's been killing them all season has been goalkeeper, and they haven't addressed it yet.
Yeah.
Then they're not gonna keep Kepa. That's clear. Frank Lampard is done with him, so they're still gonna go out and get him. I mean, they still have time.
They might get like a young goalkeeper. I don't know, like someone else, or maybe if they have someone from the academy.
I heard there's a guy from Lille in the French league who they were looking at after. But this is a 2-part one right here. So Nicolas Tagliafico is one of the options considered by Leicester as a new left back. His agent has been contacted by Leicester City after Chelsea expected to complete Chilwell deal in the next few days. Last details between the clubs need to be finalized, and then here we go will be confirmed. So Chilwell to Chelsea, Tagliafico to Leicester. They go hand in hand.
No? Why no, Brian?
Why would you spend that much money? How much was Chilwell? Like,
doesn't say, but it's a pricey.
It was pricey. It was like 60 or something.
Really?
It was like, yeah, it was like 50, 60. And I was like, this isn't worth it. I'd rather buy Reguilon. What? Reguilon is like a better player. He's probably younger, and he's like half the price.
And he
So
just
buy
wants
one get one free, kind of.
I saw Leicester go up against City, and Riyad Mahrez was cooking Chilwell on the right hand side, or Leicester's left hand side. Yeah, he's good, but not that good. He's a good Prem player.
It's what we were talking about last time. It's about the premium for English players. Pretty much it.
I think that's why.
Yeah.
Honestly.
It's a big premium, though. Same thing with Stones, right? Remember? Like Stones, McGuire.
Wan-Bissaka was an exception. Really good signing.
Which one?
Wan-Bissaka. I don't remember how much it was. I think it was 40, 50, something like that. But definitely a position that we needed a player like him.
Dude, they're so as a backup for Sancho, in case that doesn't go through, Man U has looked at this British kid from the Bournemouth Academy as their backup.
Dude,
if they get Sancho. I know they're obsessed with British players.
I would rather Douglas Costa. We were talking about him last week.
Yeah.
Instead of Sancho, what the fuck?
I heard Alexandro might be out of Juventus.
I heard Alexander to Man U.
Ooh.
That would be pretty good.
Ooh.
He's 29, but he's better than what you have now.
No,
That's
29 isn't that bad. You don't give him a 3-year deal.
Well, he used to be really good. He used to be one of the best fullbacks in the world, and now he's not as good. But I would take him over Shaw or William.
I think it'd be good.
All right, let's do some transfer rumors. I'm going to go on the transfer page right now.
I'm trying to help you out. Where's my phone?
Thanks, dude.
If I was a phone, where would I be?
Okay. Here we go. Barcelona have expressed an interest in signing Manchester City's Angelino, according to Sky Sports. City value him at 30 million euros.
Dude, it's Barcelona?
Yeah, is Angelino their guy? Is he gonna solve their problem?
With Barcelona, I don't get it.
Again, these are rumors, and you don't know how much truth there is to them. But he did perform well when he was on loan at Leipzig. He was actually pretty good. Like, kind of surprised me because he wasn't playing at City. But to replace Jordi Alba, this is the guy. Like, what happened, man?
Damn.
Brian, how do you feel about your rivals going after Angelino?
I'm fine with it, man.
Yes.
Okay, here we go. Barcelona are reportedly willing to include Luis Suarez in a part exchange deal to sign Donny van de Beek from Ajax, according to Mundo Deportivo. I like that, actually. I would like him to go wherever. I really rate Van de Beek. I think he's really good.
Hey, you said Juventus?
He could go there too, yeah.
Wait,
Anyway.
What club did you say?
Oh, to Barca. All right, let's move on to the Europa League final. We had a final score of 3-2. The winning team was Sevilla. How did you guys see that game? I thought it was a good game.
I knew it, man.
Yeah, that was a good game.
It was a good game.
I honestly thought Inter is going to win, and I heard some rumors that Conte might leave Inter.
Yeah.
That's up in the air. And I heard Allegri is the next one if he decides to leave. Like, it's the prime option. They didn't win any trophies this year, but they have a really good team next year. I know that for sure.
They have Hakimi. Lautaro might stay. I don't know if anyone will end up buying him.
I feel like he'll stay.
Yeah. Who else do they have? Oh, they're gonna get Sandro Tonali, the Italian wonder kid.
Yeah.
Pretty much the same back line. But this Sevilla game, this Europa League final game, that final goal by Lukaku to give them the lead. Poor guy, man. The ball was going out. He threw his foot. He was just kind of not all there, and ball goes in. Cost the team a European trophy. That's a tough look. And he's supposed to be the leader of the team. For someone who complains when the ball doesn't get crossed to him, to end up losing like that, that's tough. That is tough.
Yeah. It's. I think the big thing on Lukaku has been that he doesn't score in the big games, or he only scores against the smaller teams. And he's been had a great season this past season. But I guess when it came to it,
he was the first player to score on both sides of the field. On both nets.
Dude, he is. I think that's why players like him can't do well in Prem, because every game for them is a big game. So that's why they can't be consistent. But in Italy, they have 4 or 5 tough games, and the rest are just easier games. So that's that's where they can shine, show them.
Yeah.
True. Like in the Prem, like every game is a Champions League
It was
final.
so inconsistent in Man United.
And to be fair, Inter should have done better because, I mean, what are the chances that they reach a stage and have not a very strong opponent in a final in a European competition? I mean, Sevilla did a really good job, but then Inter wasn't good enough. And to reach that narrow margin to let tough luck changes the scenario is all Inter Milan's fault, because if they played better, they wouldn't lose on a bad luck. So they should have done better. And players like Lukaku, you said, I mean, yeah, they are like that, and that's the reason why we have Messi and Ronaldo, because not everyone can be consistent, and that's why he left Premier League, because he was just not good enough.
It's true. You gotta put the game away, and if you don't take your chances, they'll come back to haunt you, and that's exactly what happened.
Sevilla is just the king of Europa League, apparently. Like, they just win it whenever they're in the finals.
Right?
They're literally like the Arsenal of the FA Cup. They just. All right, let's move on to the Champions League final. Final score was 1-0. Bayern ended up winning the treble. They won the whole thing. How did you guys see that game? Go ahead, just let it all out.
How did we see that? We saw it from the living room, didn't we?
Yeah.
Me too.
Me too.
It was a very good game. It was amazing. I mean, to be fair, I expected a lot. I mean, if I was a betting man, I would have bet on Bayern Munich for sure. I mean, given the reputation, how they were throughout the season. But I expected a lot more from them, and I kind of feel in this game, the only reason they actually managed to keep the 1-0 win was their keeper. I mean, they weren't the Bayern Munich that we saw throughout this Champions League season. I mean, they weren't that like fiery, crackery, like that kind of team. And Neuer saved them quite a few times. I mean, he was just amazing. That guy.
What a game from Neuer, man. What a
Dude, he went back to 2013.
In his hands and legs, and he just spreads himself up like jelly.
But honestly, every time that there's a final, it's not as exciting as the games before that.
Yeah, I don't know why. I was gonna say that.
Dude, I don't like last year Spurs and Liverpool, same.
Lame.
Yeah, this year it was a little better, but still, it wasn't as fun as like semi-final games.
It's because Real Madrid isn't playing in the final. That's why.
I don't know what's the deal.
But I will say. Oh, sorry.
You progress issue. Okay. So what I was gonna say was
I didn't even know what that was.
that was the I win no matter what. That was that Warzone leader. No, what I'm gonna say is that like because Bayern plays such a high line and they do like to press, PSG looked like the more threatening team when they were able to get balls in behind, like Mbappe on the left hand side. Not particularly on the right hand side. Di Maria didn't do much, but at large parts of the game, it looked like PSG was going to go ahead and win it all. But they couldn't take their chances. And Mbappe had a clear one. Neymar had one early on. It was on target, but there was a good save. Like Neuer came up clutch. I thought PSG was gonna go ahead and take it, but didn't end up happening.
Well,
what? Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, you mentioned bets. Yasir bet $400. Actually, $410.
An ass donation.
$410.
On what?
That's the thing. Right when I wanted to shake on it, I got my internet got disconnected. So
No.
Impossible. You got a new router.
You literally bought the most expensive router out there.
Honestly, though, watching that game, actually watching the past couple of games and seeing Neymar, it actually kind of saddens me and makes me so depressed at how worthless money is. Because he's the guy who was the most expensive
Yeah.
player of like history who was ever sold to any team, and he was shit. Like I never seen such a low quality player playing in the finals, and he is like the most expensive player ever. And
Yeah.
the point to go to college and study so hard if a guy like him, like, he was absolutely shit. Anyway,
Yeah, I mean, outside from the betting that Yazzles me, um, I will say, like I said, Neuer was great. I think he showed why a couple of years back he was the best goalkeeper in the world, and I think you're starting to see that same form that he had before. So I think he was, me personally, was the man of the match. He like definitely saved a lot of chances.
Same.
And yeah, how we were touching about the Neymar thing before. Yeah, people are mostly blaming Neymar and not Mbappe. I think Mbappe deserves the same amount of fault. I think Neymar deserves fault, but I think Mbappe does deserve it, because it's not fair for him to take all the credit when it goes well, but not take any of the loss when it goes bad, right? So I think you have to blame both. Neymar, I was kind of touching upon it earlier, how there's a reason why he's not in the Messi Ronaldo bracket, and this is why. Because Messi and Ronaldo in the Champions League final, they buried those chances, and that's pretty much it. And then the reason why we didn't see an exciting game is because if you saw like Davies, for example, he didn't actually go up as much as he did before. Even though they play a high line, I think both teams were pretty cautious that this was a final.
Yeah.
And they didn't attack as much as they usually would. And I guess that's the con about being in a final. You have to be a little more cautious. So.
I really like seeing those individual battles within the game, like Mbappe and Kimmich were going at it the whole night on that left-hand side. Alphonso Davies and the other fullback, Thilo Kehrer, the German on PSG, they were going at it. Like these little individual battles are what decide the game. Who gets to own possession on that flank? And where do you guys see this treble winning side compared to previous treble winning sides like the 2015 Barca, or trying to think what other team has won the treble?
Even the old Bayern Munich side.
Inter Milan, 2010.
Inter. How do you guys stack up this team to those teams?
to be honest with you, I think this season was particularly different because everything was kind of distracted because of COVID. I think many people didn't actually realize that they were a triple winner until they actually won the Champions League, because that whole attention was taken away. And the competitions were affected, teams were affected. So although Bayern was a very good team, they did a really good job, but I think it was just a different year. And the main reason why they managed to get the triple win was that they were consistent, being that very good German team that they've always been. They were consistent. When all other teams were distracted, when all other teams like practices were canceled, they weren't. And I think probably that's why they might not be as good as the other teams in the previous like triple win scenarios, because the main reason why they managed to get this triple win was their consistency rather than actually being an excellent, exceptional team. Because in the last game, in front of not a perfect, not a very good PSG, they were actually not very good. As you mentioned, there were lots of scenarios that actually PSG could have won if they had a Messi. So I don't think Bayern was that exceptional. It's just that as compared with how Liverpool messed up this season, or many other teams messed up because they got distracted, I think they probably just won because they weren't distracted.
I actually felt the same way at first, but I think this COVID situation just basically distracted us as like people who just watch soccer and how good Bayern is. Personally, like they didn't lose or draw any of their games during Champions League. So like has never happened before. And I think that was just like I personally just forgot about Bayern. I was like, oh, Bayern, like I thought Bayern is as good as Barcelona, Real Madrid, Man City, but they were way up there. And I can give them that. I'd say they were the same as like Inter Milan or Barcelona, but because of this situation, people just got distracted and they didn't. The hype wasn't there. I think that's yeah.
I would probably say wait, I have a question. Would you say this Bayern is better than the last Bayern that won the treble? The one with Rob and Ribery?
No.
Yeah, that's what you have to compare, right? It's like, are they even better than the last one, the recent one?
That's the thing I was thinking about, because like, or the Barcelona 2015 or the Inter 2010, they were like all legends in their teams, you know. But this one, it was just a good team.
Wait, hold on. But these guys can become legends. This team like just formed like 2 seasons ago, so we don't know. They could become legends 5-6 years down the road. Saying like, oh, do you remember Serge Gnabry, or do you remember Lewandowski, or so on? Like they could go on to become legends, but they're just so early on in their formation that it's kind of scary to think about. You know what I mean?
That is true.
I think they're a pretty good team, to be honest. I do think I think the problem with this team is that their strength is also their weakness, and that's probably what you saw. I don't think they're better than the last Bayern team, to be honest. I think that team was just, I mean, when you have Ribery and Robin at their prime coming at you, that's pretty scary. I'm not gonna lie. And then you have Schweinsteiger, you have Lam.
I think Cruz was there too.
Huh?
Yeah, Cruz.
And Xabi Alonso, maybe.
Yeah.
Nah, Xavi no. But Toni Kroos, yeah.
That was a good team. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
And that team knocked a Barcelona team who were pretty good themselves, like 4-0.
And Arsenal, I think.
Can you just edit that part out? Let's turn it to PSG. How do you see PSG going forward? What's up with their team? They just lost Thiago Silva, so they have that spot to fill. They have Neymar tied down, so he's going to be there for a little while. They have a bright young core. They have some Argentines in there. Do you think they can make it back up there, or was this their only opportunity to make it this far and they fucked up?
It's a suit shit anyway. But talking about answering your question, actually, whether they would get worse or they would go to finals again. You know, we have to look at 2 factors. One is actually the PSG itself, and one is the competition. I feel personally, right now, quite a couple of the teams that used to be great, used to be legends, are struggling. You've got a struggling Barcelona, you've got a struggling Manchester United, which has been struggling for a long time. Real Madrid hasn't been doing really well either. So the
Arsenal too.
Arsenal is old. Anyway, and that's not fake news even. But there are lots of good teams which are struggling. I mean, we got a nice rising Liverpool now, but there are not so many good teams out there. So PSG might actually have a chance because they have a consistent team. They went to finals, good for them. So I would say they might still have a chance, not because they are great, just because the competition in this year is not as great as it was a couple of years ago.
That's a very good point. So these teams that you talked about are down at the moment, but very soon they'll be right back up.
Yeah.
So their window to make it back to the final will probably be 1 or 2 seasons before these teams like Real or Arsenal or Man U make it back up top. I'm not going to include Barca because Barca's like way down here. But if they want to make it back, they got to do it within the next few seasons because the teams that are known for being at top are back on the rise very soon.
Absolutely.
I think it's that, and also you have to think like Mbappe, Neymar. They probably have like maybe 2 seasons left on their contracts. So you also have to think from that point of view that I don't think Mbappe or Neymar want to stay at that club. I don't think they're going to renew their contract, to be honest. I think once Mbappe finishes his thing, he's out. He's probably going to Real Madrid. And so not only do you have pressure from the point where Adrian was pointing out the other clubs are going to strengthen, is like, are you going to weaken? So that's a big point. I think this was literally their golden chance to win the title. They had a easier route than normal.
Much easier.
Yeah, they couldn't. They had a good Bayern team at the end, but they couldn't finish it. So
They had the Mbappe chance within like the first 10 minutes of the game where David Alaba like made a bad pass and it went right to Neymar. Not Neymar, Mbappe. Hits it directly to Neuer. Didn't choose a corner. He went right to Neuer's chest. Like, you gotta make the goalkeeper work for them. I mean, yeah. So for the 2020-2021 season, who do you guys think are the favorites to win it all?
Liverpool.
Me too. I back him. I go with DeWander on that one. Liverpool.
I'm gonna still say Bayern or Liverpool. Depends if Liverpool flops again.
I'm gonna be objective. Probably Man United. They're in UCL.
I like how you had to reassure everyone that they actually qualified. That they're there. Don't forget about them. No, I think Liverpool's on their shit. Like, after I honestly can't even. I think Liverpool is a better team than Bayern. I think Liverpool is stronger. Honestly, I truly believe that.
I would want to see that Bayern versus Liverpool Champions League final.
I mean, it happened last year. It happened last year when they had when they played. I think they played in like the quarterfinals or the semifinals. They matched up. I remember we were in Barca when we watched that game in that restaurant. What was different about that game is that they had James, or did they have Coutinho at the time or no? No, they didn't.
No.
They had James. And the thing with James is he was playing a number 10 role. And playing a number 10 against a team like Liverpool when they play a 4-3-3 is when you need to press constantly and then you can't come back to defend, it comes back to haunt them. So that's why they got rid of James and they started playing with just Mueller in the middle, and he brings more intensity in the middle. That's why when they brought in Coutinho this season, they started playing him out wide instead of the number 10 because he just couldn't provide that consistency. So it didn't work with James. It didn't work with Coutinho. That number 10 role just doesn't work for them. And that's why they got rid of Niko Kovac early in the season, because in meaningful games, Coutinho just couldn't come up clutch, but Mueller was the guy. So Hans Flick, I believe that's the coach's name, Hans Flick, right?
Yeah.
He recognized that intensity in the middle with Mueller is what makes them press high and kind of function as a team because they feed off the other team's mistakes. So this goes into like the number 10 role is just dying in football. It just doesn't work. It doesn't work anymore in the modern game against a 4-3-3. It just doesn't work.
But imagine two high pressing teams going at each other.
Liverpool, Bayern. That would be phenomenal.
That'd be pretty fun. Who just presses higher?
Basically, who can get their fullbacks further? Like Kimmich or Davies or Alexander-Arnold and Robertson. Like who can control that flank? That's who wins the game.
I'd pay for that final.
We haven't watched a good final for a good few seasons, actually, have we? When is the last final that you actually enjoyed?
The last Real Madrid final against Juventus. That was a good final.
Wait, what was the question?
Yeah, that one was good.
Yeah.
What was the question?
When is the last time you actually enjoyed watching a Champions League final?
Oh, true. There have been some kind of flat ones lately.
All the Real Madrid ones.
Wait, what was the one against Juventus? That one?
Yeah, Juventus. The one before that one against Liverpool was pretty.
Ash, how do you feel about Leeds? Do you think they can push top 6, top 4, top 10?
To be honest with you, I mean, I've been living in Leeds, and I'm telling you this like firsthand. That when I went to Leeds first for my college, it was a pretty shit city. Like literally, it was so small, and we only had like a tiny shopping mall. There wasn't even an Apple store, so once my MacBook was broken, I had to send it to Sheffield to get fixed. But then every year they started to develop the city because there was a lot of investments. And I heard there was a lot of American money coming in as well. Because most parts of the UK, like London, is Arab money building up like the whole like city and developments. But there were lots of American money in Leeds, and it started to develop very quickly. They started to build lots of these like skyscrapers, like a good 3, 4 shopping malls, an arena, lots of things. And there's been a lot of investment. You know, football is like the heartbeat of England. So once the city starts to develop, then there's going to be investments in the football team as well, because that's what the rich guys like to spend their money on to avoid their taxes. So Leeds been developing, and I'm pretty sure it's got a very rich team. The only thing that concerns me is that I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with the geography, but there are a couple of teams from the region who actually screwed up. So Huddersfield is from the same region, belongs to the same county, belongs to West Yorkshire. Huddersfield screwed up. They had Hull City. Hull City is literally half an hour from Leeds. They screwed up, and now we got Leeds. So I don't know. I kind of feel like they haven't had a good reputation in the region because they just weren't good enough. But then we got Sheffield, which is also half an hour from Leeds, and they didn't do too bad.
They did great.
Yeah. So
No, yeah, they surpassed everyone's expectations.
exactly. So they might actually end up being well. The only thing is, I'm not sure how well did they do in the like getting new players and like what do you call it, the transfer market. So it just depends on that really.
That's probably the biggest part, right? Well, what probably cuts it for the championship doesn't really cut it for the Premier League.
I
Exactly.
think a smart thing for them is to just get like players on loan from bigger teams, like what Sheffield did. Just build up their team.
Yeah.
How
free transfer.
how long have you like witnessed the transformation of Leeds? Like when did you first get there and like notice the change?
So when I went to England, the first 2 years I was in Cardiff, and then since 2012 I've been in Leeds. And literally,
Oh, damn.
so the changes started from I would say 2013, 2014, and it's been constantly changing. You know, it's kind of like when you go to China, like every time you go, there is a new building built there. So when I go to Leeds, it's completely different every single time. So now, literally, you know how England is like a very old country, and there are all these old Victorian red brick buildings. Leeds is different. So Leeds is the only city in the region that actually looks very developed and very modern. So you don't see those like red brick buildings in Leeds. Leeds is a very new city because it was literally a shit city that was built since 2013, I would say.
I'm very excited about Leeds because I've been hearing a lot of talk about them being like one of the original like big clubs in Europe. But since I've started following them, I only heard about them like 2 years ago. I didn't even know they were a thing. So there's a lot of like question marks around this team, and I really want to see like what. Actually, what can you say about their fans and just like the football atmosphere in Leeds? Like, what is it like that culture there?
They are actually crazy. Like even when Leeds was quite shit, they used to be like very big fans. And I remember last year it was Leeds, which was very close to getting to Premier League as well. They went to like playoffs. Those guys are insane. Like they got tattoos of Leeds United on their bodies, and I'm pretty sure they got some like hooligan groups as well, which are like they were like the Liverpool sort of fans because Leeds is on the other coast of England. So we got Liverpool here and Leeds here. So they're similar type of fans who are actually very, very like passionate, patriotic towards their team. They're insane.
So like,
with girls and boys got Leeds United tattoos on their arms and legs. Just shocking.
so kind of like how people from Liverpool they consider themselves as like Scousers, like kind of like that, but like the Leeds version.
They got a name. I don't know it. Let me
Oh, they do have a name?
Yeah.
Are you familiar with any of the players by any chance?
No, not really. I mean,
Because I think there's this one of their best players. I think he's homegrown. I think he's from Leeds,
yeah.
and he does go by a name, like kind of how Alexander Arnold is a Scouser and he has a Scouse accent. Their like best player, I think, has like a Leeds accent. I just don't know what it's called.
Right. It says the Leeds accent. I don't think there is a name for it. If someone is from Leeds, they call it Loiner or something like that. Loiner. But there is no like specific name for Leeds accent. So they call it the Yorkshire accent.
Oh, yeah, I think that's what it was. Yorkshire, yeah.
I have some news.
And it says that fans are called peacocks. That's a very unexpected name, but yeah, they're called the peacocks.
Oh. You know who Leeds is facing their first game against?
Manchester United.
No.
Yeah. Man United.
Liverpool.
Oh, fantastic! They're gonna be shafted. Nice.
Wait. So Brian, you're taking the bet on Leeds? Is that what you're saying? Wait, Brian.
$500 for 2 ass donations. Damn.
Wait, final question, because we have a direct source from England. Ash, have you been to any of the? Actually, you've been to the Etihad. Have you been to any other stadiums around England?
Well, for real games, I've also been to Crystal Palace, but that also was against Man City, so it was also in Etihad. But for like museum tours, I've been to Anfield, I've been to Liverpool, I've been to the Manchester United Stadium.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Old Trafford. But just
This guy's jealous.
Yeah, it's like heartbroken.
I didn't know that.
Not during the game though, just yeah. I've been to quite a few stadiums, like Marseille.
So, if you had to choose your, say, top 3 stadiums, just based on the stadium grounds, the pitch, just the atmosphere, like what would you rank your top 3 stadiums that you've been to?
To be honest with you, I remember when I was preparing for college interviews, I attended a practice interview run. It was hosted by Emirates in Emirates Stadium in London. So they had like a conference hall and all that. And dude, that stadium is beautiful.
Inside,
yeah. You know, like where the VIP section is. So they actually rented it for interview practices. And that stadium was beautiful. Like, I've never seen such a luxury, like first class.
Dude, imagine having an interview at Emirates. What the fuck?
It was a glass top of the building, so we could see the field from the glasses. So actually, it looked massive. I don't know how it would be like when it's full, but that was a huge stadium. It was beautiful.
It looked really nice when we went there.
So you rank it number 1?
I would definitely say so.
And then 2 and 3 would be?
Well, for the history's sake, I would say, so I would go for Arsenal, so Emirates, Old Trafford, and then Anfield. I think Anfield was sick.
Anfield? I've always wanted to go to Anfield.
It's very small, it's tiny, but then it's got a beautiful history, you know, all the fire and all that.
And can't you see Everton Stadium across the Merseyside River? It's like, you can kind of see it, can't you?
I didn't look out for it. The problem with Liverpool is that I swear I've been to Liverpool many times. So every single time I've been to Liverpool, it's been raining heavily and it's super windy. It's something about Liverpool. So I never had a clear view and a clear day. It just rains a lot there. Just a problem.
How hard is it to understand people from Liverpool?
So apparently Liverpool. So the thing about UK that really impresses me is that, first of all, you only need to drive for 10 minutes before you face different people with different accents. So, you know how Newcastle and Durham are literally like 10 minutes apart, and the accent is completely different. Like Newcastle has got a beautiful accent, and then like Durham has got an accent that they pronounce U's as ooze. So like instead of saying bus, they say bus or those kind of things. So they're so close. It's the same for Liverpool and Manchester. To get from Liverpool to Manchester, it will literally take you half an hour to drive. They are so close, but they are completely different, and that's the beauty of it. So Liverpool, apparently, what happens is they pronounce their K as H. So if they want to say like chicken, they say chicken. If they want to say Coke, they say Hoch. So it's a very wonderful accent. It kind of sounds German to me.
So what's like dich?
Dich means what you're gonna do if he loses the bet, man.
And don't they also say, like, instead of saying my, they say me, like my car, me car, like
Oh, but they say that lots of places. That's more like a street language. Yeah. Like if they want to say my man, they say sup me man.
me man.
What about like one from?
Yeah, that's a very.
Right, guy, help me out here. What should the viewers do to this video? Season 1, episode 10.
They should definitely like. They should definitely comment. Of course, subscribe.
Yes, Dansky, where can they follow us on our social media?
@Crossbar podcast. Insta.
And what's our upload schedule looking like?
Wednesday at 7.
That's been episode 10, season 1, episode 10.